And what is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993, back here for some more baseball news. And now we've got a couple retirements out of the way. We've got the managers sorted out with who's going where. Interim tags removed. Free agency is set to start soon. But first, we did get the first news of this offseason. The biggest news, in my opinion, of course, besides some opt-outs and whatnot, is we got an extension signed by superstar closer of the New York Mets, Edwin Diaz, who signed a 5-year, $102 million guild contract extension with the New York Mets after having a career year for sure. It's about a $12 million signing bonus, full no trade clause, and has a team option for the 6th year, which could take the value to the deal to $122 million. He will also have the option to opt out of his contract after the 3rd season, he'll be approaching his age 32 season as well. Of course, there's just a bunch of things, but of course, the Diaz, of course, was lights out for the Mets this past season, tossing 62 innings with an ERA of $1.30. He struck out more than half the batters he faced and walked just 7.7%, and he gave up just 3 home runs and converted 32 of 35 save opportunities. Of course, his fastball and slider combo has been a nightmare, but he leaned far more heavily on his slider in 2022, going to it 58.1% of the time against his usage in the mid-30s, and the results were staggering. He led all the majors in relievers in ERA, strikeout rate, and reliever FWAR. Strikeout rate was so dominant that it tied Craig Kimbrell's 2012 effort for the 3rd best strikeout rate of qualified relievers in Major League history. Only Aroldis Chapman at 52.5 mark in 2014 is better. But of course, he also had an 11.9% walk rate, well above Diaz's rate for this past season. Though Diaz has established himself, as the best reliever in baseball, the deal does present a fair degree of risk, giving Diaz's career as a whole has been something of a roller coaster. There's a little bit of a chance. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Seattle Mariners in 2012. He would then emerge as a power arm out of the Mariners bullpen, averaging a .264 ERA over 3 seasons in Seattle, highlighted by a phenomenal 2018 season that saw him notch 57 saves, while posting a .196 ERA, and he finished 8th in the American League Cy Young voting, which of course would lead to that offseason. Him and Robinson Cano and the prospect were traded to the Mets. In return, they got Jay Bruce and a couple other prospects as well. Unfortunately, though, things did not go well for Diaz in his first season with the Mets, posting a .559 ERA. He maintained a strikeout rate, but he had a lot of long balls given up, an average of 2.3 home runs per 9 innings. The Mets though stuck with him, as he could have been non-tendered that offseason, and he bounced back in 2020 in the shortened season as well. He experienced then a little bit of a dip, posted a .345 ERA in 2021, but that was still solid as well though. He became a legitimate superstar of the sport, and of course, he's got lots of praises. It's the first move, though, it could be a very busy offseason for the Mets. The rotation and bullpen will be addressed. Diaz will be set to join Tommy Hunter. Originally, he was set to join Tommy Hunter, Adam Octavino, Joey Rodriguez, Trevor May, Seth Lugo, and Trevor Williams, who will be heading to free agency, while Michael Givens has a mutual option for next year as well. On the starting rotation side, Chris Bassett has already declined his mutual option, will be a free agent. Jacob deGrom could be opting out of his contract in the coming days. Taijuan Walker has a player option and a $3 million buyout. Carlos Carrasco has a $14 million club option and a $3 million buyout. So Yeah, it looks like the Mets pitching staff could be really, after a collapse in September and not being as deadly as they were at the beginning of the year, they could have a whole new pitching staff next year. But of course, Diaz being their closer for the next 5 years at least, or 3, will be somewhat of a plus. But yeah, I guess to keep saying, with the Braves, having a lot of people locked up long term, the Phillies as well after the year they just had, and Rob Thompson got a 2-year extension and the interim tag taken off of him. I talked about in the Skip Schumacher video that the Marlins have some pieces. You don't want to sleep on them. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting offseason for the Mets. But signing Diaz to this extension was definitely deserved. Again, he was great in Seattle. He's had a little bit of a bouncing around when he joined the Mets, but he's finding his stride. He's a lights out reliever. So I think they could be set on a solid closer. And again, he's got a full no trade clause. But if the Mets can get past their history of late season collapses, we could see Diaz opt out after the 3rd year. We'll have to wait and see, though. So, good extension. Big topic, of course, to start off the offseason. Of course, free agency is happening, and it's going to start happening soon. There'll definitely be a lot of big names out on the market, and, we'll see where people go. The shortstop market's going to be busy. Aaron Judge could be heading somewhere. Starting rotation is going to be all over the place. We could be seeing Justin Verlander as a free agent. We could be seeing Jacob deGrom on the market. Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, a couple shortstops there on the market. Several others as well. So, we will see what happens. But, nice start to the offseason with Edwin Diaz signing his 5-year extension with the Mets. What are your guys' thoughts on Edwin Diaz signing his 5-year extension with the Mets? And of course, any upcoming free agency as well we'll keep up with during this offseason as well. Make sure you guys leave thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe or contact my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirborne3. I may do a video once all the awards are given out as well. Talk about a few of those. I would maybe want to talk about at least Nolan Arenado getting his 10th straight Gold Glove to start his career, tying Ichiro for that record, but we'll see where that goes. But of course, if not, then I will still definitely, as much as I can throughout this offseason, update you on different baseball news. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night, and peace out, everybody.